Chapter 15, March on Washington, 1963. The nation and the world watched nonviolent protests become violent, not by the actions of protesters, but by police. Many battle-worn young activists became frustrated. They were frustrated by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s faith in nonviolence because Black people were being beaten, jailed, and killed. Many started listening to another leader, Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a minister in the Nation of Islam, a religious organization focused on the liberation of Black people. Martin and Malcolm, like Du Bois and Washington, and later Du Bois and Garvey, were two Black leaders in another game of tug-of-war. Martin and Malcolm both wanted freedom and equality for Black people, but each leader had different ideas about how Black people should fight for their freedom. Martin preached nonviolence as a tool for overcoming oppression. Malcolm preached self-defense and freedom by any means necessary. Dr. King and other activists had been working with political leaders to pass civil rights laws. They planned a huge televised rally for August 28, 1963 in Washington, D.C., the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. This would be an opportunity for Dr. King to convince the nation of the importance and urgency of civil rights. During this time, John F. Kennedy was president. Although the event was organized by civil rights groups, President Kennedy's administration knew the world would be watching, so they approved the speakers and the speeches, which meant there were some who got a microphone, whose voices were heard, but many others who were silenced by the White House and by Black male leaders of the civil rights movement. Like Black women. Daisy Bates read a short vow, a pledge on behalf of women working within the movement. But Dorothy Height, a powerful leader who helped organize the event and was the only woman to stand on the platform with Dr. King, was not invited to speak. Nor was Rosa Parks, or so many other Black women whose work had fueled the movement. Black LGBTQ+ leaders. Bayard Rustin, a key advisor to Dr. King and an organizer of the event, was not invited to speak. Nor was James Baldwin, a Black novelist who, through his writings, had become a brilliant and bold political voice. Malcolm X. He attended the event but was not invited to speak. But a Black woman did sing, Mahalia Jackson. As the civil rights movement pushed on, Jackson had been using her voice to lift the spirits of Black people across the segregated South. In fact, Dr. King himself would call Jackson whenever he felt discouraged just to hear her sing. And on this day, she sang and encouraged the nation. At the march, approximately 250,000 activists and reporters from around the world walked to the area between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. And on this day, Dr. King gave what is known today as one of the greatest speeches of all time, "I Have a Dream."